masculinity. It can be toxic and it can be beautiful. But do men really know the difference? Let's think about the man in our lives, the straight ones and the gay ones. What's the difference between masculinity that comes from a place of insecurity versus a masculinity that we see it as beautiful? Let's talk about it.
Well, I just want to start on by saying that I don't think men own masculinity. I think masculinity is a gender expression. So yes, we can ask men what they think about it, but I don't think they're the authority of it.
No, but you're right. There's a lot of fear around men right now in terms of, Joe Rogan's podcast and all this stuff, like this new sort of alt-right meathead. What do we think? Are they reacting against something? Is masculinity changing to the point where they're having to reclaim what masculinity is?
I don't think there's anything wrong with being masculine or feminine. You be you, and whatever happens, whatever it is that how you feel to express yourself, whatever. But the idea of being masculine has become an excuse for being an a-hole, and that is a problem because you can also be feminine and be an a-hole,
100%.
So it's like, where do we draw the line, and make people just be accountable for how they behave.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's not about masculinity, what we're talking about. We're talking about you being a simple a-hole.
Yeah, I think you make a great point, and also there is a difference. It shouldn't be synonymous, like being a bad person and being masculine.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that are masculine or like kind of what the stereotypical masculine that are great people. It really is a spectrum and how you act. What I will say is, from my lens, especially a lot of comments I get on social media are from people that are like, oh, you see, like, this is what's wrong with the world, or like they'll see me like play characters and stuff. And it's usually people that look just like me. And I think it's something that even in like the Black community specifically, it's even more rampant. Like there's like this narrative that like Black men, like there's like an agenda against Black men and feminizing them and stuff like that. So it is a genuine fear in like certain communities.
100%.
Well, I think we also have to remember that masculinity, as a term, it's kind of a social construct rather than
Absolutely.
a characteristic that you're born with. Everyone has innate characteristics that will come out as you get older that might be seen as more masculine or feminine, but this whole idea that masculinity is being strong and head of the household, and I make the rules, and then feminine, it's weak, it's inferior, masculine is superior, all of that it's a social construct. So you can't, adhere to these rules unless you realize that this is all made up, it's all fake. You said this yourself on another episode. Nothing is real. Everything is fake.
Nothing is real. Everything is fake. I still believe that. But I remember we had a babysitter for like a group of like kids, 8 boys or something. We were in Provincetown and we wanted to go out without the kids. So we all the moms or whatever got a babysitter. And the babysitter, of course, was like, I don't know, feminist studies from whatever women's college, So it was a bunch of little boys and her. And at the end, we got home and I asked her how everyone behaved, because that's what you do. And she said, oh, they were, wrestling and, whatever, and out of control. And she was like, they were just performing masculinity. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? That's amazing. I'm like, they're performing masculinity. So now, like, if I see, like, something with a guy, I remember my kid, like, he'll, like, do something like, rah! And I'm like, oh, that was a good performance of masculinity. So, he's like, oh, yeah, I don't have to do all that. You know what I mean? Like, so he brings it down. So it's just it is a performance, like what you're saying.
I think we're also like in an era now which is so crazy. I speak to some of my friends and they're like always getting like their testosterone checked and to see where it's at so that they can get, testosterone shots and things like that. And just kind of like, oh, well, this helps me feel like I can go to the gym and I can grow more hair. You should probably take some because you'll grow more hair. I'm like, who told you I wanted more hair?
Yeah.
But it's like, then there's like that fix now out there where like, maybe that's part of the reason why people think like, this people, where masculinity, the message has been like, kind of like, I don't know, changed a little bit or deviated, right. but there's, again, this whole movement of like, how you can be more of a man or more of a woman or
right.
more of a, and I think it also depends, it's very subjective because what to me might seem masculine or whatever to you might not, or so again, it's just a matter of perspective.
I think the performing masculinity is actually hilarious because I feel like both gay men and straight men do this. Like, especially when it comes to dating. Like a lot of my straight guy friends, when they're around girls, they'll like deepen their voice and like start talking like this. Like, and gay guys do that too, like because there's like these roles that people feel like they have to fit, and it really is like a performance.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So even then, when you think about it, it's like, okay, so if you're not doing that voice, are you not being masculine? Like, it's what is it? Really is subjective.
Well, I think it's about wanting to be liked, wanting to be desired. So for a lot of men who like women, they think that the more masculine, the more desirable they will be to those women because it gives them an idea of this is a strong person that's gonna take care of me and it's gonna, you know, it's a very breeder mentality, I think, because at the end of the day, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's true. Unless you step out of that, you know, again, that sort of fixed path of you get married, you have kids, you then are able to look at yourself and be like, am I really like this, or am I performing for others so that I can be liked?
And
If those roars come out of rage because you're angry in the moment, do it. But if the next moment you want to be as feminine as a flower, do it too. Who gives?
And I think it's exactly what you're saying. Like, people do kind of care what other people think, and that's why they feel like they might have to perform, because I've seen like even a lot of my friends who are girls who will say certain things about like, oh, that guy's like sassy or something. And so it kind of makes people feel like they have to perform. They have to be a certain way. They have to be rigidly a certain way in order to be accepted, to be liked, to be attractive. But I don't care.
Well, it seems like at least we're all aware of what's happening.
Well,
you
all I
know?
know too is it's taking men a little bit longer than it used to grow up. Have you watched Love Is Blind? These men will be sitting on the couch and they will not have a job, and they will say to they will judge the woman in the other booth for being younger than them and not being on a career path. And meanwhile, they have no job. They want to like be taken care of.
go on social media.
It's like that's not being masculine. That's just being a simple a-hole and trying to excuse your mediocrity by saying I'm a man or whatever. No, that's ridiculous. I mean, come on, like
but if you're going to do that, if you want to go back to the olden days, you're going to have to get your butt back out there and shovel some coal.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You can't get them back in the house.
Go to war.
You can't send your wife off to shovel coal and then be like, "Where's my dinner?" You know what I mean?
With your pinky, holding a
exactly.
Pick and choose.
Well, we could talk about this for years and years and years. I think again, it's very subjective, but you know.